now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Give in to temptation and pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today. Most people would believe that Pooky does not work. However, there are some cases where Pooky does go out here and get a job, and when he does get a job, it's not based on his ability to do the job, it's because the men and women around him have agendas. Now, Pooky is a term that most black people use for black males who grow up in single mother households, and usually when it comes down to Pooky, he's one of these guys who's coddled and sheltered by his single mother to the point where she usually looks to take care of him in a codependent relationship where she has all the power, and usually he goes from living with his mama to going to live with a girlfriend. And in both cases, oftentimes because these women have agendas to try to maintain the facade of his manhood, they will try to go out here and try to help Pooky go out here and get a job. Sometimes mama will try to find a way to hook him up with a job, or the girlfriend will go out here and try to hook him up with a job. Or in some cases, you'll have white folks who see him at a place and look to offer him a job. But these are some of the ways that Pooky finds work, and he's not really, again, working towards building anything because he's not in a place where he can go out here and take the lead for himself. No, Pooky is basically following the lead of either his single mama, his girlfriend, or some white folks at the job, and they basically are using this guy to fit whatever agenda that they basically have. Now, in the case of Pooky, he's at the job, and when he's at the job, he's basically there to, again, be a part of that agenda to maintain the smooth world of white supremacy, maintain the smooth world where they go out here and look to maintain their and validate their ideas about black men, because when it comes down to Pooky, he's their all-purpose tool, an all-purpose tool that either black women or white or non-black men use to go out here and get their ideas validated about the image and perception of black men on the job. And this is one of the main reasons why they hire Pooky, is because many of these individuals want to see their ideas about black men validated. They want to see the stereotypes that they created and imagined in the days of the antebellum South be proven to be true. So passive-aggressively, they will hire a black male like a Pooky, and they'll hire the black male like Pooky because what they want to do is get their ideas about black men in the workplace be validated as related to their perceptions. And what they want to see is this lazy, shiftless black man who goes out here and comes in late, goes and takes long lunch breaks, and doesn't do work in a satisfactory fashion, and also in some cases may be looking at the white females, or even look to check for women, or is talking about sneakers, or talking about going to the club. Again, it's all about seeing the ideals of white supremacy validated to them, and see them validated to them so that they can say to themselves, yes, this is my idea of a black man, and with this idea of a black man proven to be true, this makes them feel secure about their place in the world, and makes them feel secure about their ideas about black people being the truth as related to things, and they don't have to deal with the reality of actual heterosexual black men who are conscientious, heterosexual black men who are responsible and reliable, or black men who can go out here and do work. No, they don't want to see those ideas about black men because those are living, breathing refutations of their stereotypes they've created about black men. Moreover, that black man represents competition, and they don't want competition, so they'll go out here and look to hire the Pookie and have him be the workplace Pookie. And again, the workplace Pookie works for those people because, again, it's not about that man working and earning on the merits. No, it's all about them building and maintaining their agenda and their ideas about black men. Because that's what they want to see about black men, again, is the stereotypes that were created by white supremacy during the time of slavery about the idea of the black man being lazy, the black man being not coming in on time, the black man not being professional, the black man being controlled by his lust and desires for sexual access. That's what they want to see from black men. And again, when they hire Pookie, his job is not to do the duties of the work. His job is to go out here and breathe brand new life into these stereotypes, breathe brand new life into these stereotypes. And as he breathes brand new life into these stereotypes, this is where a covert contract between the white men and black women on the job is created. Whereas as long as he continues maintaining those stereotypes and keeping their world smooth, in some cases they'll allow him to keep that job. They'll allow Pookie to keep that job as long as he fits the ideas that they want about a lazy, shiftless black man who goes out here lusting after women and doing a half-done job. It makes those whites and even those black women feel comfortable about their space. And since they want to feel comfortable in their space, this is what matters to them more than the merit of work. And that's where a lot of people don't really see how Pookie is an asset to that company. That's where Pookie is an asset to those people at that job. He's an asset because he basically is presenting the ideas that make these folks feel comfortable. And for when it comes down, especially to white folk, white racists in these companies, not even going to say white people, I'm going to say white racists at these companies, they want to feel warm and fuzzy and feel comfortable with someone. And they want to feel comfortable with their idea of a black person. They want to feel comfortable with their idea of a black man. And their idea of a black man, again, is this guy who's coming in late, this guy who's coming in and talking a lot of jive, a guy talking about all sorts of women, or talking about expensive clothes and sneakers and cars, or a guy going out here and again coming in late and again just taking long lunches and clocking out early. Again, this makes all of those white folks feel comfortable because they know this guy isn't going to be a threat to their operations, and he's going to again fulfill the stereotypes that they want fulfilled. Moreover, he's one of these guys who's going to go out here and do all sorts of laughing and again telling jokes and buck dancing and bojangling. I mean, this is the stuff that makes a lot of those white racists feel comfortable, because many of those racists know, yeah, we can pay this guy and he can fill our diversity quotas, and we can go out here and basically keep this guy to be our all-purpose fool, again providing us with entertainment on the low, because they lined up laughing at this Pookie. And as they're laughing at Pookie, because they know he's basically again just there because he makes them feel comfortable and does not look to compete with them, this is what makes them again want to keep him on the job. And they believe that, okay, he's the perfect guy to go out here and be their perfect worker, because again, they can say, oh, the company isn't racist because we hired this black guy, but this black guy basically is to them a punchline of a joke, somebody they're laughing at. And they use Pookie again as their part of an all-purpose fool, again to just go out here and do whatever fill-ins that they need. And never really, this guy, because all he's thinking about is blowing money on cars and clothes and women. He's not somebody that they really need to worry about, because he's not thinking about building or competing. Now, in the case of the black women and the women on the job, they love themselves some workplace Pookies, because workplace Pookies, again, are all-purpose tools all-purpose simps that they can go out here and use to go out here and again work the overtime hours that their bosses tell them to work. They can go out here and use him to do the extra work that they need to be done, and have, in some cases, have these guys doing their work for them, and use these guys as workplace simps. Again, the Pookie, because he doesn't understand his role as a man in God's order, doesn't understand his purpose as a man, and doesn't know how to work like a man. The Pookie is the perfect all-purpose tool that they go out here and use. And as he's being used, these women basically use this guy to advance themselves and move themselves ahead in the job market. And in some cases, again, will keep the Pookie around as they go out here and use him to move themselves forward. And in the case of both the black woman and the white man, again, they'll use the Pookie. And eventually, as the Pookie is drifting through the workplace, what happens is that sometimes you'll have one of these leftist white guys or one of these white females talk about recruiting the Pookie and again looking to build him up. And again, this is where they look to clean up the Pookie. This is another part of the white corporate agenda. They like to go find themselves a Pookie because he's this street guy who basically, again, doesn't have any direction or any purpose. And what they look to do is go out here and look to clean up the Pookie. This is where their whole God complex comes in, just like the black woman's God complex, where she's looking to clean up the Pookie. Again, look to clean up the Pookie and make him into their idealized image of a professional black man. And again, they want that Pookie because they want to see their ideas being presented as related to a black man. They don't want a professional black man who comes up with his own ideas, because that guy is, again, one person who has control and knowledge of self and also has their own direction. No, they want the Pookie because this is a guy they can program and allow him to be able to push their agenda. And this is where the Pookie evolves into the bootlick, because bootlicks eventually are just Pookies. They're black guys who, again, fit the ideals of white supremacy, fit the ideas and narratives of white supremacy. And what the white supremacist does is basically take this Pookie, clean him up, and again, give him a job. And as they give him a job, they shape and mold him into their ideal. And as they shape and mold him into their ideal, this is where this Pookie, again, is looking to gain the favor of white supremacy, whether it be under an underling in a codependent relationship with the black woman at the job, or as related to mama or his girlfriend, or in a codependent relationship with the white boss. And this bootlick, what he will do is start parroting all of the things regarding to speaking bad about black people, because his daily bread comes from him not, again, being a worker based on the merits, as they call it, but based on his need to, again, worship white people. And his whole idea, again, is that he basically is the ideal worker. He's been transformed into an ideal. And again, that sates the agenda and the ego of many of these white racists at the top. They've got their perfect black man. They've got their perfect black man who will be their guy to go out here and be their enforcer, just like some of the black women who are in corporate America. I mean, some of these black women in corporate America, they will bring in the Pookie, again, to be a pseudo-authority figure. He's a figurehead of a man who has no masculinity, because his power came from either a black woman who was his mama or his girlfriend, and the white racist who brought him in. And again, the workplace Pookie, he gets all sorts of passes in the beginning because he's, again, fitting their agenda, because the Pookie, he's allowed to, again, sleep on the job. He's allowed to come in late. He's allowed to mess up all he wants. And he's allowed to do that because he's pushing an anti-black agenda. Again, proving stereotypes to be true, and again, validating the insecure ideas of many of the racists in corporate America and some of the black women who basically, again, want the Pookie because they don't want to be led by a man. They want a man who will follow them. They want a weak, spineless guy, and they will enable this guy because he fits their agenda. They want him to be a part of their agenda. They don't want a heterosexual professional black man who can lead himself, because a heterosexual professional black man is not invested in the system of white supremacy. No, a heterosexual black man usually is invested in looking to build something for himself, and that represents direct competition to white supremacy and the people who are a part of it. It represents direct competition, because if that man is looking to build his own and looking to build his own in the workplace and invest in getting things like his own home, like building his own family, that's direct competition to white supremacy, a system of goodies, giveaways, and guarantees. And Pookie is better invested because he's used to getting goodies, giveaways, and guarantees from mama and his girlfriend, and because he's getting goodies, giveaways, and guarantees from mama and then goes to corporate America, he is basically looking to be codependent on that system, and that's why they like Pookie. That's why they want Pookie, because they can clean him up and eventually allow him to evolve like a Pokemon into the black bootlick. And a black bootlick usually is basically a Pookie in many cases. Even if he's got degrees, he's just basically there, again, not to do any work, but to be a representation of an idea and a representation of an anti-black agenda. Again, he's there to be that buffer that they use when people who are qualified, like myself, go into the job market and say, hey, I want to get this job, and you don't have any black men on the job. They go out here, pull out the bootlick, who basically is a workplace Pookie, bring him out and say, hey, we've got black men on the job, but that black man on the job, in a lot of cases, again, he's allowed to only stay because he's a bootlick or a Pookie. And Pookie, again, is allowed to evolve because this makes the world smooth for many of these racists in these companies, makes them feel comfortable because they don't want to compete. No, they want Pookie to have his place on the job because he's, again, representing ideas that they want represented, representing ideas in a lot of cases. Now, there are some black men out here who do manage to get jobs, and they have to push hard to get through things. But the whole thing is that there's another category of black males, again, category of black males who are in the workplace. And again, these guys, whenever they see a black man in this workplace looking to move somewhere, these are the guys looking to, again, trying to get guys fired, trying to get people off the job, because they basically got their job through going out here and fitting an agenda, and they don't have any sort of purpose or direction of their own outside of getting their daily bread from their white paymasters or their non-black paymasters. They basically, again, Pookie got his thing, and again, is helped out by a lot of people because the black women need him and the other women need him as an all-purpose fool, as related to, again, doing their work and being the guy who, again, works the extra hours in some cases. The white guys need him because they need to shape and mold someone to be that buffer and that bootlick who will look down on other black people. And some of the white women have him on the job to get their chocolate fetish sated, and again, hopefully get them to be able to go in the workplace bathroom, drop their skirts or their pants or their skid marked Victoria's Secret thongs, and get a taste of that chocolate carbon, and get a taste, and he can get a taste of the vanilla waste from the special place. I mean, it's not, when it comes down to Pookie, again, this guy basically, again, makes white folks feel white racists feel comfortable, not white people, because there are white people who want to work hard and want to go out here and earn something legit. But then there are these racists in these companies who, again, want to see not a hardworking black person, but they want to see their ideas about black people. And when they can't see their ideas about black people, they start to project it onto other brothers. And as they start to project that onto other brothers, this is where they want to get that black person fired, because what they want to see are Pooky, and they also want to see loudmouth Laquita. They want to see their stereotypes presented to them to show them their reality regarding black people. They want to see their reality regarding black people, and this is why Pooky has a place in corporate America. Again, workplace Pookies eventually again graduate and evolve into black bootlicks, and again it's an ecosystem of white supremacy that's not about creating competition or again working on the merits. It's an old ecosystem similar to the slave plantation, but the slave plantation has turned into the corporate America, and corporate America is no different than the slave plantation in that all they want to do is see their ideals of black people and not see the reality of us, and see the reality that we can be just as competitive and be just as professional as anybody else out there. Now, if you want to learn how to identify workplace predators in the workplace, like the workplace Pooky and other sorts of workplace predators that basically can derail your career, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping in the Workplace at other online booksellers like Draft Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos talking about the workplace, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available for the first time in paperback. Stop Simping in the Workplace. Men, learn what you need to know in order to protect your job from workplace predators with Stop Simping in the Workplace. Available in paperback at online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. John Haynes, A Conversation with Death. A man who rules the world and the angel of darkness take on a horde of demons in this inaugural John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, A Conversation with Death for 99 cents on Kindle or in paperback today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. The man who rules the world breaks in a brand new partner to help him take care of business in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Taking Care of Business at paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.